spoiled kids whose parents make entertainment choices based on our reviews sometimes curse the mere mention of our name. It explains why sometimes we have to spoil certain plot points in our reviews, even though we try not to do so unnecessarily. It explains why we do this strange work, and why we think that watching movies and telling you about them is actually kind of important. And for me, the answer truly begins, as many stories do, in the beginning. Stuff and story. Most scientists will tell you that we are made of stuff: skin and bones, water and carbon, protons and electrons. A chemist would say that it's all pretty much the same stuff. 99% of the human body is made of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus. A biologist would observe that those elements are the building blocks for everything from our skin to our brains, from our livers to our lymph nodes. And we don't typically get a lot of variation there. One heart may be slightly larger than another, but it's not like any of us get, say, 6 of them. Geneticists identify a few more differences: our sex, the color of our skin, the shape of our noses. Humans can look very different from one another, yet the geneticist is quick to remind us that 99.9% of your genes, no matter who you are identical to mine. From the standpoint of science, if we were Lego pieces, we'd all be boring old 2x4 bricks, only each of us would be an ever so slightly different shade of green or blue. Yet, the variation we see in each other can take our collective breath away. We are so different in how we think and act, how we grieve and celebrate, how we pray and vote. Sometimes even folks from our very own gene pool can feel as though they come from a completely different planet. At Thanksgiving, we may discover very good reasons to avoid making fun of ancient aliens when Aunt Esther's within earshot. Yes, we're made of mostly the same stuff, but dig a little deeper underneath that stuff, and you'll find a deeper, more important truth. We're made of stories, and those stories make us who we are. We are who we are because of what we've experienced. What happened to us at the age of 4 impacts how we think at age 40. These events shape how we think, how we act, how we relate to others, and they obviously impact how others relate to us. I think it's both beautiful and illustrative that the universe itself is a story told by the ultimate storyteller. "Let there be light," God said, as the first book of the Bible tells us, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And it was so. "Let there be land and sea, let there be birds and beasts, let there be you and me." And it was so. He spoke everything we know, perhaps everything we can know, into reality. Our cosmos began, essentially, with once upon a time before anyone could count it, a time without sun or moon or stars. It was the first once, the first story. And from that first came all the stories that followed. When God molded us from dust, He not only breathed His life into us, but also blessed us with a love of story. Because it's through stories, among other things, that God shows His love for us. It's through stories that we learn to love Him. He made us, I think, uniquely attuned to learn through stories, to be influenced by them. The Bible is essentially a book of stories, crisply told, full of heroes and villains, littered with both the familiar and the exotic. Some are as simple as children's fables. Others can be as multi-layered and enigmatic as Russian novels. Some stories are both, with our experience of them changing, as it will with any truly great story, in depth and complexity as our understanding increases. Even Jesus taught through stories, using everything from mustard seeds to prodigal sons in His parables. And we are storytellers too. Our stories separate us from the animals that share our space. Birds might sing. Chimpanzees use tools. Whales have some language abilities. But storytelling? As far as we know, it is unique.